Don't we like screwing everybody up, Steve? We put 9:15. Nope. We come in 10 minutes earlier. And Steve, you are getting, did you order it? Your Baggio Christmas sweater.
They're gonna get restocked next week, as per Gio, my fashion coordinator.
So he's the one that found it over there. So yeah, you're gonna definitely wearing that one around the Christmas time. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that one. And you know what? People are not used to it. We're early, so only 7, 8 live viewers. Stevie P, let's just start, and people will come, right?
Yes, sir.
If you record, they will come. Here we go, guys.
You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Che sì, ed è gol!
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez, ancora lui, una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fuori classe assoluto!
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 217 to be exact. Here we talk everything Milan, unrecognizable Milan, and the world is coming to an end because Milan has 2 games lost in a row, Milan, and we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Stevie P, Vinny T, always faithfully here every single week. The good ones, the bad ones. And you know what? We've been here the last 10 years in the banter years. Obviously, we're going to be here every single week. Before we do get into the game, Steve P, a couple of things we want to talk about. First question off, Steve. How did Messi win another Ballon d'Or? Maybe I'm like, you're the connoisseur. Maybe you have some sort of secret or knowledge. What did he exactly do to win the Ballon d'Or?
No, this award needs a massive makeover. It's becoming a laughing stock. People are not taking it seriously anymore. It's going to discredit what he's done in the past, what Ronaldo's done in the past. Basically, the Ballon d'Or is for the best player for that year. I don't know which calendar year they put together to give out the award. But, I saw one tweet from someone who said, how can we give it to someone who didn't play for 5 months? And they're not wrong.
Ronaldo didn't go.
But that's fine. That's okay if he doesn't want to go. That's a bit of his persona too. If he's not nominated or one of the top 3, he's not going to show up. It's okay. The game will continue. The award will go on. The problem is for players like Lewandowski. It's the time is running out to win this award, and I think Lewandowski had a fantastic season last year.
Yeah.
Someone like Jorginho, had Champions League, Euro, did well with Chelsea, and finishes 3rd, which is okay. But the person who wins, who for in my eyes is the best footballer in the world that we've seen, wins again now. Is it something publicity? He hasn't been doing well at PSG. It's not the same Messi as we saw at Barcelona. Last year, Barcelona as a team didn't do well either. He was injured a lot too. So again, when you're giving out awards like this, and it's something that's very prestigious, and today there was a lot of tweets about past winners and the standings of the past winners. You look at some of those players who finished, 2nd and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way to 10th. Those are some really top players that didn't have a chance to win it. So sad, but that's what it is.
A chapeau to Kajar, as we lovably call him here, Steve, 18th out of the 50 list. So well deserved for the year that he had the last year. Would it be helping Milan in Champions League? With Denmark, had a very fantastic outing for me. It's nice to at least see. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
about
okay.
18th
I
spot,
think
but
they botched that. I don't think it should have been. He's not the 18th best player in the world, by
no,
far. So then you're discrediting the list, right? For what he did was a human. It was a human. It should have been a human prize, a humanitarian award, something special in his honor, something completely off the chart of Ballon d'Or. Nothing to do with what's happening on the pitch. Was Kajar good for us yet last year? Absolutely. Was he was he supposed to be ranked 18th in the
yeah,
Ballon d'Or? No.
you're
So
right.
I understand Milan Twitter. We love to pump our own, but for me, I think this is a botched opportunity by France football, a botched opportunity of the situation at hand. You know, the guy saved someone's life, right? This has nothing to do with football. It has nothing to do with how he played on the pitch. This has to do with someone taking control, a leadership award, some kind of award. People are fucking inventing awards for everything nowadays. There's a day, there's a commemorable day for every single day of the year. I think France football and UEFA together needed to come up with something, right? So I hope when they start naming the FIFA Player of the Year, when that comes up, that if that's an option, it would be nice to see him recognized for what he did in terms of being a human and saving someone's life. Nothing to do with soccer.
And before we get into the game, Steve, it's that time of year. 13 years this year, Steve. I know I've been there for many of them. You've been helping out with the Milan Weekly podcast for at least 3 years now. It is the Toying Food Drive, the 13th annual Toying Food Drive. Many of us are getting together once again. Milan Club Montreal, Milan Weekly podcast. We will be there on the 19th of December. So the plan is for ourselves and some Milan Club members to go ahead and show up, help out. And then we all drive to Chicharo's and go watch Napoli versus Milan on the 19th. We did last year, same principle. In about 20 days, Steve came out with his $3,000 goal, which I found he was out of his mind. And we still hit $3,000. So now we're going to try to shoot for $3,500, guys. The money will be spent as we did last year to the Walmart grocery run. We might reach out to maybe some food distributors to see if we get maybe a pallet of tuna, Steve. But anything canned goods, toys, clothes, we will be there again this year, 19th of December. The link for the Toying Food Drive, our GoFundMe, is in the descriptions. We will be posting a lot, guys. Yeah, we're going to be repetitive, but this is a time of year, and we just like to thank you for everybody that donated last year. It was really humbling to get all that money and going to buy all that food and to kind of make a difference, even if it's some people make differences all year round. This was our one opportunity once a year. So join us this year. Link is there. And Stevie P, are we ready for this year?
Yeah, we're ready for this year. I do owe everybody an episode in the Jello. I will do it whether we reach our goal of this year or not. Just guys, just to be very transparent with everybody, I think through COVID and stuff like that, I don't think it would have been as funny or as impactful to have an episode done in Jello with everything that's been going on. But I think now, hopefully we're rounding the corner of this pandemic. We're embarking again with the Toy and Food Drive and SouthSide and the great people that put this thing together. And it's a lot of logistics, a lot of work behind the scenes that myself and Vinny just say, hey, come and donate money and we're gonna go shopping. But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on. Dave and the crew. Look, guys, the food banks are down. It's across the board, especially here in Montreal. I don't know how it is where you guys live, but it is something that is near and dear to myself and Vinny because we've been doing it for quite a bit of time. It has nothing to do with Milan Weekly Podcast. It has nothing to do with Milan Club Montreal. It has everything to do with the families that are in need and that need these foods and these hygiene items, whatever you can give in terms of toys, in terms of money, is everything that's going to help. So we're going to be
Definitely.
repetitive,
Yes, we
and
will.
we're gonna collect the money, and we're gonna smash our record from last year. And you will see me when it's a little bit warmer here in Canada, maybe even a little bit if there's a bit of snow. I will go in the pool of Jello from last year, and whatever, we'll throw in something special too.
And it is for associated to the Welcome Hall mission. We're going to be spamming your timelines, guys. So thank you for anybody that will contribute. And because GoFundMe does charge all these fees, just like last year. Patreon, all the members helped. We paid for those fees on our own. So every single dollar that is donated goes towards this. So stay tuned for all this spamming, and all for a good cause. Stevie P, are we ready?
Yeah, there's one more thing there. I want to give a
Yes.
shout out to someone, a friend of the show, Jason DiTulio. He
Yes.
is a local soccer hero here in Montreal, going through some tough times, battling his own personal health issues. I want to wish him the best. I wish him a speedy recovery, and we're gonna do something for him as well, and try to raise some money for him. And I hope that he can get back on the pitch. And his famous phrase is "La Grinta." So you'll see some posts from us regarding his GoFundMe and to help him too. And again, I wish you, Jason, a speedy recovery.
To you, hopefully they do reach that goal for him as well. A very sad story, especially at his age. So we will be sharing always for a good cause. Stevie P, let's get into it. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We got Milan Sassuolo. We have the good news of Mike Mangione, as you like to call him, back in goal. Florenzi starting on the right, which was for me not really like a head scratch. I'm like, okay, maybe a rotation, especially with the midweek game. And let's start with that, Steve. How did you take like Florenzi starting? Did you read into it too much, or it was like, okay, we're just gonna start Florenzi?
No, look, before going to the starting, I think it's important. We mentioned it last week. We said the first half of the Fiorentina match looked like the game that we played against Spezia, where we looked completely lost and completely disinterested and didn't have too much positivity on the field. And then we had the Champions League match. So we had, Atletico home at San Siro for a must-win for us. And we got Macias on the board. Fantastic story, riding that wave of Champions League. I really thought that they were gonna. This Sassuolo match really caught me by surprise, because I really thought that they were gonna ride the wave of the Atletico win. The Atletico game was not the best. It's not something that I would show to the kids that I coach of how I want soccer or how I envision soccer to be played. But hey, 3 points is 3 points. But there was really, I'm surprised we took the lead, and that was really something positive with Romagnoli getting a goal. But then after that, Vinny, this was something that,
especially Steve, like you're saying, riding the wave and seeing how well we played in the first 15-20 minutes. I remember my cousin Johnny in the chat. It could have been easily, I'm not exaggerating, it could have been 2-3-0. And we always go back to capitalizing on your chances and, paying for the mistakes. But Steve, where did we go wrong? Where did this game go wrong? I know it was a fantastic goal. I know it was an error by Bakayoko. Fantastic goal by, what's his name? Scamacca. And then it just... I really can't put my finger on what went wrong in this game. Do you have an idea what happened?
Yeah, it's the pressure of the Champions League. This is what it is? Yes, it's 100% this. Playing 3 times a week, and it's not playing Europa League, playing the Champions League. This is the lows that you will have from time to time. We've seen it with the best of the best teams. It happens to everybody. Milan Twitter, of course, went after the game, and they made it seem like as if everything was burning down. The San Siro was burning down. I'm known for people who watch the show as being very pessimistic, very being someone who's going to take this and really dig down deep into, can I go to tactics? Can I go to body language? But can we also just take a step back and say, look, this is a very young team. They won a game against Atletico Madrid that, came down to the final 10 minutes, still alive in Champions League. And again, there's going to be a low, and that low came against a very annoying Sassuolo that just doesn't stop. But what worries me a little bit about this game is that, like we said, we took the lead. We had chances to go up 2-3-0. We didn't take those chances. And then the first mistake that we make, they put the ball behind us, and the body language of this team completely changed. The attitude and the body language changed. You can take tactics and throw them down the drain. You can have multiple tactical videos of what went wrong, but here psychologically something happened. Something that we haven't seen in a very, very long time with this Milan. Almost to the beginning of Pioli's tenure with Milan is the last time that I saw kind of this, take the lead. Against Spezia, we talked about that crazy game last year that really set us back a lot, but we didn't score. We didn't take the lead. We were just not there. Yeah. It's very rare that we see Milan get on the board and then take 3 goals and then not have an answer to get back into the game. So
not having the reaction. Yeah, not having the reaction like we had, against the Fiorentinas who were trying to battle back. And I want to talk a little bit because nobody had a great game. I want to talk about Romagnoli a little bit because I paid attention. Everybody was shitting on him, right? But I rewinded it and I rewatched, Steve. On that counterattack, in the box, is Theo Hernandez. Now, am I saying that Romagnoli had no choice? He's alone, right? Nobody's covering Theo. Now, I'm not saying it's Theo's fault. Who's supposed to be covering Theo? I know you're down, but people want to shit on Romagnoli for that tackle, but he's left alone. And I understand maybe Theo is made to be more attacking, but who's supposed to cover? And it's like there was nobody back there, and you can see it. You could see it from a mile away. I didn't think Romagnoli needed to be shot on the whole game. I think he was left alone most of the time because Theo was going up there quite a bit. Steve, I don't know. Am I making any sense? Because that's what I saw.
This is what we get from Romagnoli. I'm a fan. I don't think he's a bad defender. I just don't think he's as good as we want him to be. Deep down, as Milanists, we always want them to be the best, and especially someone like him, where we have a sentimental attachment to him. I'm going to speak for myself, just because he stayed with us in the shit of the shit times. Mm-hmm. But those things, Vinny, at the professional level, you cannot happen. You cannot back up and you're almost in the 6-yard box. You can look for where Theo is, but this is him. One-on-one, traditionally, Romagnoli is very weak. And smart players and like Berardi will remember that and will take him on. And he wanted to play Berardi, that he was going to go to his left. And Berardi ended up going to his right, which is not something that Berardi does very often. But what made it worse is that he slipped and he licked the turf monster. That's even more embarrassing, right? But it's not only that. That's a single. It's a single episode in a game where when nothing's going right, nothing's gonna go right for the full 90 minutes, right? And imagine he got on the board, and then it got even worse. He took a red card.
He took that was a deserved red card, and you can see there was no reaction. He knew. Even Simon did not have the greatest of games, Steve. It looked a bit out of place, and I don't know if it's the dynamic with him and Romagnoli. Looking at this, Steve, is there even a tops? We don't want to talk. Milan Post would do tops and flops, but is there even a tops?
Milan Post this week is going to be one of those weeks where there is no, from top to bottom, there was nothing that was going right. Maybe if Romagnoli didn't eat the turf monster and had a half a decent game, he would have been the top. But
Benacer, maybe?
nah,
He's
even at that, it
best of the
didn't
worst.
look good. It didn't look good. I didn't from Pioli's lineup. The Florenzi, we were a bit thin at right back, but I don't think it was the proper game to maybe rotate and put someone other than Kalulu there. Maybe bringing Florenzi second half would have been probably a little bit a little bit more of a smarter move just because of Kalulu's pace.
You find
I
he did
did
bad,
not like.
Florenzi did? I didn't find he did bad.
Bah, he
Well-
didn't offer anything. This is a Ricardo Rodriguez 2.0.
At least he can
It's-
cross, Florenzi.
But if you're not doing anything good and you're not doing anything bad, it's pretty much that you're really not doing anything. So,
No. So here's the real question. Out of these 11 players and substitutes, Steve, who was the flop of the game?
I think the red card puts Romagnoli in the flop category. As much as I feel bad of what he took in terms of criticism from all of Milan Twitter, I'm going to agree with them, and he was the flop of the game. It just did not, after that goal, it really, imagine, and he scored a goal.
Yeah.
If he doesn't score that goal, he gets Pagella 3 or something like that in the Gazzetta dello Sport. It was that bad. It was just not a good defending display by someone who's seasoned, who's been with us for quite a bit of time. I get that he doesn't play a lot because Tomori would usually slot in there, but for me, Romagnoli was by far the flop of the match.
I'm gonna have to agree on that one, even though like even Leao and Ibra seemed off, a lot of offsides, but it just shows you that Tomori, yes, everybody's like, oh, we need Tomori back. Yeah, but guys,
Yeah.
you need to be able to rotate because if Tomori, anybody guys gets hurt, right? So
Well, Tomori's hurt.
no, exactly.
He's
Like
not going to
people
be
say,
able
oh,
to
we
be
need
there.
Tomori, we need Tomori. Yeah, but you need to have this kind of rotation that if ever a Tomori gets hurt or a Kajar gets hurt, we need to be able to have these quality backups that we've seen so far. Gambia hasn't, definitely not impressed. Romagnoli, he's had more bad games than good games, but we shall see how they bounce back. We have a game against Shevchenko, Genoa, Steve, this Wednesday. Then we have Saturday. Let me just pull it up here. Did you have anything to add to this graphic?
I did not like the starting of Bakayoko in this game. I don't think there was a reason to start him.
Do you not think maybe because of keeping Kessie, because he did have a great game against Atletico, and even Kessie at half, I didn't recognize Kessie that half game, that 45
There's
minutes.
no reason. If there's any position on the pitch where we have another two guys who can start, it's right there. There's no reason for Bakayoko to start this game. Bakayoko right now is a player that has to come on and close a game and hope to God that he does nothing stupid. But in closing here, guys, it's very important that you guys all understand the lack of quality that we have on the Milan's bench. We just don't have. The Messiah story against Atletico was fantastic. I cheer for him. I wish no one at Milan any bad. But the lack of quality, guys, and especially at right wing, guys, where we don't even have someone in the starting 11 that can do something on the right wing, it troubles me from what I saw on a couple of pages today, where Maldini said, a gennaio non facciamo niente because we're competitive. Translation, in January, we're not going to do nothing because we're competitive. I hope, again, this is just navigating the
waters.
the newspapers, navigating the waters, like you said, not wanting to say that we're that desperate. But if we're going to make a run for the Scudetto, this team needs to get at least a starting right wing, and at least, again, I'm going to go away now. I don't know what Giroud's injury is like, how long he's out. I'm sorry, guys. I pray that Ibra stays healthy. Again, a striker. And Diaz, we need someone to back up Diaz, because when Diaz is not on, you saw Milan struggles.
He definitely wasn't on, and thank you. Look at Sonny giving us some extra graphics. So Wednesday away at Genoa, then at home against Salernitana. Champions League, I believe it's Tuesday, Steve. And then we got Udinese and Napoli on the 19th. Looking at these games, Steve, you need you need at least 3 wins out of 4 of these 4 next games. You don't have a choice. You can't afford to lose against Genoa. You can't afford to lose. Definitely
No,
not
they need
Salernitana.
12.
You need to beat Napoli. So you're saying
You need
just
to beat them all.
everybody. You need to
Yes.
beat them all, and
It's
we'll see
2
what
games.
happens.
They have 1 point in 3 games. That's 8 lost points.
It's been a while.
Right now we're standing at 2 less points than we had last year. We finished second last year.
Well, we did finish first at Winter, but then we just took that skid. So yeah, let's go with these 4 wins. Steve, very quickly, Champions League. Where do you stand? What do you believe? 5%? Do you have a bit of hope? We have to have hope. Do you expect? I know, like I was reading, it could go to cards, depending.
I don't know how they're gonna get. Again, the Atletico game gave me some pride that we were able to beat them. We were able to get 3 points. We were able to get on the board with a win. What am I looking at the Liverpool game? Talking to friends here on around my house, talking to friends in group chats. Do you have a chance? We were leading at Anfield. We were leading at Anfield, guys, realistically, because Liverpool shut off for exactly 10 minutes and we scored 2 goals. The quality of Liverpool and the quality of Milan is just too far of a gap. I don't think English people know what a biscotto is, but even if they would have known what a biscotto is, there's no way Liverpool is giving Milan any chance to go into this into the next round. They want to beat us. Can we beat them? Look, anything could happen. The ball is round, and I'm not going to say it's going to be pretty and we're going to play champagne football, but anything is possible.
Let me read this out to you, Steve. Milan would need to beat Liverpool in the final game, but that is not enough. A draw would be the ideal result for them, making a clear difference between Milan on 7, Porto 6, and Atletico Madrid 5 points. If Porto beat Madrid, then they will go to 8 points, and Milan can have best aim for 3rd place, which means passage to Europa League. And then it goes, if Atletico beat Porto, they will be on 7 points along with Milan. The first tiebreaker here is the head-to-head records, which is totally even, because they won 1 each and scored 2 goals apiece. The next option is goal difference, and as things stand right now, Milan have a goal difference of -2 compared to Atletico's -3. However, it's extremely close and still has to be decided by the 2 final results. If Milan beat Liverpool 1-0 and Atletico Madrid win 2-0 away to Porto, it could all go down to how many cards the teams have. How crazy is that? So we'll be following.
These are things that, again, I'd rather it be sorted out on the pitch, but we put ourselves in this situation partially, the Atletico game not being able to pick up an extra point there. I think that's the one that hurts the most, because I think we were able, a tie was going to be a just for that first Atletico match, where they got a last-minute penalty shot that absolutely should not have been a penalty shot, and VAR was incorrectly used. And the display against Porto, I think Porto was the team that was beatable in both. When we played away to Porto, I think we had a very bad game. We did not look good and didn't come up with anything. And at home, I think we also didn't have a very good game, but I think we were able to at least salvage a draw and get a point. So I think it's a bit our fault, Milan's fault, and a bit, again, that penalty shot. But would it made a difference in the end? Again, the result on the field or what counts. And now we have to just see. We have to take care of business against Liverpool, which is not something easy, right? So that's already. I'm not going in with the highest.
Let's concentrate. Yeah, let's concentrate on yourselves on that one. So we will be watching with you guys. We shall see what happens. Steve, can I start off by asking you something? I'm trying to read and I'm trying to Google Translate, because sometimes it's Italian, it's so much to me. What is Juventus accused of now? Is it the contracts and the agents? And now, because let's be honest, nothing's gonna happen, right? Because this is always the same old story. But if I understand correctly, something to do with
Scandalo! Scandalo! Not even goal. An altro scandalo.
good timing because I forgot to put a list.
Scandalo!
Can somebody explain to me, like, what is this? Like, that they didn't put up the good number. They're cooking the books. If I'm understanding correctly,
In a nutshell, they're cooking the books. And look, I joke here, and I'm not a Juve fan by any chance. But before we get into what's going on, guys, whether you like them or you hate them, this is absolutely so bad for Serie A, so bad for Juventus.
yep.
You just saw the EPL sign another humongous deal with NBC. Humongous, widening the gap even more between Serie A and the other leagues as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have, the 9-time champions in a row being charged for cooking the books. And not only cooking the books, the last Calciopoli scandal, they were, privately owned. They were just Juventus. They belonged to the Agnelli family. Guys, this is now Juventus, a publicly traded company. How bad is this? So people have been saying nothing's gonna happen. Guys, this is a different animal now. I don't know. I'm not a financial expert, but I know that if you fudge the books of a financially traded company, someone has to pay.
And like how many of these things have to come up, and it's just hard to follow. I think President Tim is probably calculating where this money is coming from, and a lot of things never made sense with Juventus. I remember, what was it, Steve, 3-4 years ago, that year that we got Bonucci, and they had sold like 7 players that we never heard about, and it was like for 108 million, and this didn't make any sense. And Paduin, I think Paduin had gone for like 12 million or something like that. It was that player
Sturaro, that's the
Sturaro. There it
But
goes.
it's not only that, Vinny. This is, if you guys, I put it in the chat, and I got the typical remark, I'm not going to watch this. I'd rather, even Presidente, I'm not going to watch this. I'd rather watch, I don't know.
I watched the first episode.
I'd rather watch bears punching each other in the face. If you watch the All or Nothing for Juve on Prime, guys, I can't say this enough, but the timing could not have been worse for Juve, because, as we've said, myself, Tommy, we understand Tommy's hatred for Juve, but for myself, I was just looking at what was going on, and how they didn't look the same. And we go back to the Milan game, where we said, they took the lead 1-0 against Milan, and then sat back 11 behind the ball. There's something wrong at Juve. Juve doesn't play that way. And you can see in this All or Nothing, it is with Pirlo, the micromanaging of Juve is out of this world. Agnelli, Patric, and Nedved in the locker room, constantly in between the tunnels, constantly wanting to know. But the cooking, and my brioche of the week tonight, Vinny.
Oh,
my brioche of the week.
Hold on again, Steve. Let me give it to you nice and loud. Oh, scusate, il brioche, signor. Sorry guys. Let me.
Brioche of the week and feel good moment of the week is in one of the episodes. I think it's episode maybe 1 or 2, I forget. When there's 1 week to the start of the season, and Patric and Nedved meet in front of his office, and their comment to each other is, "Dobbiamo comprare un attaccante." Translation, we have to buy a striker. So now I'm watching this and I rewind and I was like, they're 1 week away from the, like, okay, now they're going to tell us who they have on their list. No. There's no list, Vinny. They just realized 1 week before the season that they need to buy a striker. And they have absolutely no fucking idea who they're going to buy. How, how egotistical do you have to be as a Juve fan to say that there's not a problem at Juve? And this now, I've been pumping the transfer. I've been pumping this train. The trombetta, for me, has been going crazy. Problems at Juve. Someone, please.
Sound the alarm.
Sound the alarm. Extra. Read all about it. Juve sucks the balls, guys. And the problem is, Vinny, what's even worse is Nedved's all tutto fum in the stands. I think he's the problem, Vinny. Because I don't think he knows what he's doing.
I think honestly, Steve, that Juventus qualifying last year because Napoli couldn't have a pair of fucking balls to beat Verona hid the fact. I think Juventus needed that slap in the face. And I think qualifying at the last second for them kind of Band-Aid solution. Okay, we're still back in the Champions League. And look, we're going to talk about it now, Steve. Juve-Atalanta. Juve was... We'll go to the other games, but since we're talking about Juventus, did you even recognize this Juventus team?
Unrecognizable. And I love the Juve fans who are saying, it's Allegri. The coach can only do as much as what he has to put on the field. And we were subject to this as well, right? When the Senatori left and he was stuck with that team, and, being a little bit naive back then, we were saying the same thing. Like, why doesn't he do this? Why does he do this? The self-evaluation and the internal evaluation of your players is very difficult. And it's made even more difficult to get rid of players when they're on humongous salaries. Ramsey, Rabiot. No one wants them.
Delete.
No one wants them. And I've said it multiple times on this podcast. Juve's defense was a byproduct of their midfield. They dominated the midfield. It shadowed holes in their defense. And I'm not taking away anything from their great years, Bonucci, Chiellini, Barzagli. That was a fantastic trio. That was a great year. But it really helps when you have a fantastic midfield. And Milan suffered for years, 10 years actually. The 10 years that they won, Milan had a shit-ass midfield, Montolivo, Kevin Constant, Urbi Emanuelson, Traore. You name these guys, okay? And we had a major problem. And we were always blaming our defense because we were letting in goals. But the midfield, for me, I'm a believer that midfield, you win the midfield, there's a very good chance that you win the game.
But Steve, we took left back Urbi Emanuelson, who put him as a trequartista. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but at that point, now that I see him at Juve struggling and trying different things or trying to put people in different things, I can understand why he tried to do that, because he just didn't have much to work with. Yeah. And imagine at Juve, he does have something to work with. It's just not working.
It's not working. And Atalanta made them pay, Steve. 1-0 win over Juventus. Atalanta creeping back up. We're going to take a look at the stats there. Did you want to add anything on this game, or shall we move to our cousins?
Gotta love Serie A. Empoli, Fiorentina. I really wanted to know what was going to happen in this game. If I was a good betting man, I would have bet money on Empoli because I knew this was going to happen.
Obviously,
I knew that Fiorentina putting a masterclass in their standards on Milan to take 3 points away from us, bottled the shit against Empoli. Which, Empoli is surprising me. I think they have a nice little team. Better than Salernitana, better than Venezia, better than Cagliari right now. I think that they're going to cause some problems. I also watched Venezia Inter. Venezia's bad.
Venezia's, and speaking of Inter, what is this doing at this? No, it's my phone. Doesn't want to stay on. Hakan, goal di Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and he's Inter's savior, Stevie P. And I was talking to Mikey at Chacharo's, and it was no, but you guys don't understand. Çalhanoğlu, he's a fantastic player. He's going to bring us another Scudetto this year.
No
It's
problem.
Look,
It's no problem.
in the end, I agreed with him that on paper, right, Inter is strong. Inter is still the team to beat. And even against these little teams like Venezia, they did what they needed to do, Steve.
Yeah,
And
it
they
wasn't
won that
pretty.
game, right? It wasn't pretty, but
it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but they got the results. Now you see, Inter gets the result against Venezia, and Milan doesn't get the result against Sassuolo. This is where things start to change, and this is where last year Milan had a problem. It happened a little bit later for us, but now it's starting to happen a bit earlier, which is a bit worrisome. That's the problem, and we'll see with the standings when we bring them up. But Inter gets it done, and whether we like it or not, guys, I know there's a Milan podcast right now. Inter is the team to beat. I think Inter is Inter's favorite right now. I think Milan is on. I think they're better than Napoli. And then I would watch out for Atalanta. Those teams there are going to be fighting for the top 4 spots.
Did you want anything to Sampdoria, Verona, Cagliari?
I did not have a chance to watch the other ones. Unfortunately, there's only so much TV time I'm allowed to.
I got you on that one. So let's take a look at Steve. A thriller of a. This one came up several times. Lazio. They got a shellacking, Steve. Good shellacking across the face. And Napoli did not take their foot off the pedal. Fantastic performance by Napoli to their old coach. A couple of cigarettes smoked there by Sarri. But if you're a Lazio fan, Steve, if you're Jerry Mancini, do you start worrying now, or do you take this? Would it be a 1-0? You start worrying.
I was worrying almost a month ago. There's a problem with this Lazio. Talking with some guys at soccer on Sunday nights. Lazio is the type of team that they brought in Sarri, but Sarri, he needs specific players to play his system. And Lazio doesn't have those specific players right now. So
he's still quality players, Steve. They still have quality players. So maybe Sarri's.
They just don't fit the system that he's trying to play. Against Napoli, first thing, it was an emotional match to start because they unveiled the Maradona statue. Everything was, Napoli was going to come out pumped, even though they lost Osimhen. But Lazio just didn't really even look like they were involved.
They bent over and they took it up the ass, Steve.
Yeah, it was just a very bad Lazio. Defensively, they were terrible. My Fanta Calcio was just destroyed because I have Peperina, and
Giuseppe didn't give you any.
Nothing. He's been killing me. Lazio has been killing me. I thought that they would really, at least win some games. I'm not even getting wins, and I'm getting three goals minimum put past them. Minimum. They're averaging maybe 3 goals per game that they let in. And Napoli played some really attractive football. Now everybody went crazy. Napoli's playing champagne football. Guys, Napoli, there's a shelf life to this type of football. And this matchup worked for them. If they can continue to ride their wave right now, I can see them challenging. But when Milan and Napoli played, or Napoli plays Inter, or Napoli plays Roma, there's no champagne football.
We didn't see the champagne football.
It's back to Spalletti ball, you understand, which we don't know what type of soccer he wants to play. He needs to look at the stars and talk to his duck on his farm to see what formation he's going to start. But I see people in the chat, Napoli is second. I don't think so. I really think that Atalanta and Milan, both of those two teams, are better than Napoli.
I like it. All the other games, Mihalovic, Bologna 1-0. I didn't take a look at. I watched a bit of the Roma game. Steve, did you want to add anything? Genoa, Shevchenko with his first point. I don't know if you're able to catch any of these. If you wanted to add anything while I pull up
No, just
the other graphic.
Roma back on the board, back getting an important 3 points when Juve lost, creating a bit of distance there. Really. I didn't find they played great.
They needed
But
those 3 points.
They
Steve.
needed those 3 points, right? And
Yeah.
again, that's just getting a result. And of course, you see the standings: Roma wins, Fiorentina loses, Juve loses, and Lazio loses. They're a huge winner this week. Atalanta and Inter, huge winners. Milan's a loser this week.
Yeah, no, we definitely lose
Should
on
not
this
have
one.
lost those points.
Looking at these points here, and Adam would ask us a question to maybe give our comments about Pioli's renewal. We're going to do that as soon as we finish with this. So, Steve, we were the losers this week because everybody else won. Milan's still second in 32 with 14. Everybody had 14 games, but look at Inter, creeping up a point behind. Atalanta 28. Roma, cheat to cheat, 25 points. And, you start thinking, yes, it is still 7 points difference in between that. But to think like Roma, they went through a bad streak, but they're still up there at 25 points. And then, you have the rest, Fiorentina, Juventus, Lazio, Bologna at 21 points shared everybody, right? So that's pretty impressive. These are, and looking at these points, Steve, that's why I understand taking out even you said 12 points, even with the Liverpool game, you got to win those 4 games, right?
Yeah, you got to win those 4 games. Adamo brings up a good point here. 18 goals against. 7 of those goals have come in the last 2 games.
Yeah. And look at crazy, Fiorentina, no draws.
Fiorentina and Sampdoria are the only teams that have no draws.
That's just crazy. And Steve, how about the renewal? What did you? This came, I believe, on they did the live chat, no live video feed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're able to. I think that was pretty cool for them to do, shared with the social media for Pioli. But to me, well deserved. I'm not going to take 2 results back to back and start. We shouldn't have signed them. But I think Pioli definitely deserved this contract renewal.
The contract renewal is basically he's going to be paid this amount of money till he doesn't do the job and we got to fire him. The contract doesn't mean much more than that. If he's not performing, we can get rid of him. We still have to pay him, but we can get rid of him. And we're not like back in the day where we were paying 3 people, or we had to go take the Primavera coach because we couldn't afford. We had, Seedorf. I think we even had Allegri on the payroll at the same time, or we had Gattuso and Zaghi on the payroll at the same time. We always had 2 coaches on the same time because we got rid of one. Now we have this one coach who, we took a chance. They took a chance on. Again, I have to repeat, it was wrong. I didn't think it was gonna work out this way, but he's found some kind of magic, a home, a comfort, and I think it was well deserved. And it was time. It's a good message to everybody. We're sticking with this coach.
No, definitely. I think it's well merited. I have no problems with him being our coach, especially what he's been doing. Did you see that stat? Shared it in the stats with Pioli. So I'm just going to pull it up here because I thought it was extremely interesting. Group media. It's about how many games that Pioli has gone with. Okay, so listen to this. Only once in 105 games with Milan has Pioli had no injury problems or unavailable players heading into a match. The 3-1 win against Juventus last season. Milan have had 5 or more players out in 13 of their 17 games so far this season. That's why we need to, Derek, if you're listening, I'm going to get in contact with you. You're the doctor. You know about all these injuries. We're going to talk to you and see. I love it when he gives us the updates in the chat itself there, but still a crazy thing, when you really think about it. So well deserved, Steve, to be able to do what he did in 105 games. So I got no problem with that.
No problem with that. I know Jamie's comment here. Timing of the renewal is what annoys me. Should be at the end of the season to see where we're at. I disagree. I think soccer and North American sports is completely different. In the North American sports model, yes, I agree. In soccer, really, again, when it's the coach, you can get rid of him whenever you want. Now, I think the timing for me, I like the timing. We're trying to renegotiate Romagnoli. We're trying to renegotiate Kessie. We had problems with Donnarumma. Right? Well, let's go back again. So re-signing, this year they still have the problem with Kessie, still have the problem with Romagnoli, but they've re-signed Kier. They did that. I think that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Hey, look, he's resigning, and now Pioli. Hey, look, we're re-signing Pioli.
So we'll see where that goes. And Stevie P, let's take it over to Patreon questions, starting off with Fabio. Good day, boys. Terrible showing yesterday. Can't say I'm surprised. We showed the hard midweek, but boys, it was yesterday a letdown. I know Steve is never on the bus until he can see the finish line, but these past 2 weeks definitely made the bus pop a few tires. 2 questions. Do you think these back-to-back losses will force management to address our needs instead of with cheap options? And did Romagnoli's undressing by Berardi make you reevaluate having him as our third center back? All the best, boys. Forza Milan. I don't think the 2 losses back-to-back is going to force management. I think if more hiccups arrive, especially in the next couple of weeks, maybe. Steve, how about you? Do you think these 2 losses back-to-back will force, you're rearranging yourself? Oh, can't hear you. Stevie P, no more audio.
Milan Weekly Podcast, new T-shirt.
Oh, actually, let's Steve, can you look at that beautiful T-shirt, guys? We forgot to plug the T-shirt. Well, we're not professionals. I know that we pretend to be. Look, how does it fit, Steve?
Is fantastic, guys.
Slim
Thank
look.
you to Sonny. Before we get to the question, yes. Thank you to Sonny. We had to do a lot of work to get this with the type of printing that we're trying to do, and get it somewhere where we can give you guys a T-shirt that doesn't have that snake of a Hakan Chanaloglu on it, which was also a fantastic design, but we cannot wear it anymore. But something that if you guys purchase the T-shirt, you can happily and proudly wear it out without being embarrassed. So
even if they're in their 20s and want to go out clubbing, Steve, with that T-shirt, you could wear it out clubbing.
For sure. And it's a great design, right? So let's get to the question. Sorry.
No problem. So you hadn't heard me. So he was asking Fabio 2 questions. Is that, do you think the 2 losses back-to-back will force management to get a real option instead of these cheap options? And then he said, seeing Romagnoli play the way he did, are you doubting him as their third choice center back?
Fabio, at the beginning of the show, I said what Maldini said, where he's not looking to do anything in January. I think that's absolutely untrue. I think he's going to have no choice. And your other question, no, I think as a third choice center back, again, depending on whether he renews or not, we obviously had a tough time with Gabbia when he played against Fiorentina. We'll see what happens now in the next game, who we're going to slot in there, because I think Tomori is still hurt. So we have to find someone else to partner up with Kajar. I have faith in Romagnoli to at least be the third, the third option, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have a bad game like he had against Sassuolo every single time.
No.
Will it be perfect? No. But it's up to management, to see where he's having trouble. And where he's having trouble is being left isolated one-on-one. That's gonna take some getting a little bit more mature on the part of Theo Hernandez, like you said, Vinny, where if you see that Romagnoli is alone, it's time that you start being a little bit more defensively responsible.
Or somebody in mid, cover if
someone in the middle. Right? But then again, that changes everything, right? So it's not one change cascades and dominates the dominoes into a whole bunch of other changes, right? So I see Adamo there, a Kalulu at center back. I have no problem with that. Adamo is just that then we have no one to put at right back. Florenzi, was not good.
And Balotore playing
not good. Not good. Not
Che
enough.
minestra that we have. Gio says, keep up the great work. What a disappointing performance. Question, what is going on with Tio after getting a France call-up? He would go to another level, but he hasn't. Another question, with Kessie having so many bad games then good this season, it seems his head is elsewhere. Should it be sold in January? For Tio, Steve, I have to agree with Gio on this one. It's because I don't know. It's the antics. I can't take the antics, the falling on the floor. And then when he actually gets clipped, and then it's like, well, I think he got really clipped at one point. The guy didn't get a yellow card. A lot of antics, a lot of, especially that mistake that he did against Fiorentina. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. And it seems that, he takes the ball up, he does fantastic. And then in that final third, can't do anything. And then he comes out with a brilliant performance, great passes. But I think, is it because of, hey, it's Andre from Page. How are you, Andre?
Andre.
Terry, salute to you guys. Yes, next therapy session, Andre will be waiting. Is it, are we exaggerating? Are we expecting too much of Tio? Is it because he came in and
he knows what he can do well? The thing is that he has to become more mature in the final third, and it's gonna take some more time. Guys, there's a reason why he didn't get selected to the French national team for a long period of time. Is that they don't want that. There's not a lot of teams that want that. They want someone to play responsibly forward and responsibly defensively. This is the game now. You cannot be one-sided. You cannot just be a great forward player. You need to do more, especially wing back, left back, right wing back, whatever you want to call them. There's no more only good going forward.
Yeah.
They have to be both. And, we said it. I think he's a fantastic talent. I think he's just, again, Nix is saying it, he's immature. And I agree with him.
Taking stupid yellow cards, Steve, in the last couple of games too.
Yeah, and it's not the last couple of games. This has been going on for a while because you're out of position defensively. You're always chasing. And once you're always chasing, you have to, there's a tactical foul. There's a foul that he's going to commit just because he's not in the right position. And those fouls accumulate, and the refs they're gonna continue to penalize him. The antics is, the other thing that we're talking about is that the refs at a certain point, they do not want, the refs have enough problems. The refs don't need guys trying to fool them. They have enough problems.
They know, and if he continues acting this way, that's what it is, for a problem. About Kessie, Gio says he doesn't, has had more bad games than good games, getting rid of them in January. I think we spoke about this last week, and for me, the price, nobody's going to pay for him. And in the end, you know what? If you're going to give us another, 4 or 5 months to help us reach Scudetto and this and that, because nobody's going to buy him, guys. They know it. It's like if somebody would offer money for Mbappe, right? They know he's going to leave. He wants to leave. And I think PSG made that mistake not to take that money. But anyways, no, Tio needs a bit more maturity. And hopefully, he's a father-to-be. Hopefully his football IQ will match up with his fatherhood. We shall see. Who else do we have here on Gillis saying, hey, fellas, been listening but haven't made it in time for questions the last couple of weeks. Hope you're both well. Milan have conceded 7 goals the last 2 games without Tomori. I'm assuming Atletico didn't know the blueprint midweek. Otherwise, they might have torched Milan too. What's the blueprint? Get the ball behind the high line when Tomori is out because Kajar, Gabi, and Romagnoli and his Berardi-induced broken ankles can't mop up those over-the-top balls because they don't have the pace. So I know Tomori is slated to be back on Wednesday, but should Milan continue to play a high back line the next time he's out via rest or injury? Kalulu played center back once or twice last year and does have the pace but not the experience. I don't know. What do you guys think? Play Kalulu or abandon the high line when Tomori is out? Just seems like square pegs in round holes. This is from Gillis. How about that, Steve? When Tomori is not playing that, his idea of playing the high back line.
Yeah, look, it's things that I'm not gonna say. I love the tactical portion of the game. It's things that are very hard to see if it's happening all the time. Now, against Sassuolo, against Fiorentina, there are 2 games that that's not Milan's type of game. Milan's not the They're not going to outscore you every week for nothing. They're not going to put 4 goals in. And you've seen it in the last 2 games, right? We need to be we need to be defensively responsible. We need to keep the ball out of our net. Once we keep the ball out of our net and we build confidence, our midfield starts to take over. And again, starting Bakayoko this week was a mistake, in my opinion. I think we had to control that midfield. Yes, players like Berardi, 100%, very sneaky, very good at what they do on the right-hand
La
side.
bestia nera del Milan,
Yeah,
right?
especially with Sassuolo and especially against Milan. So I get it, but Milan's game is they need to control possession. They need to control, they need to control defensively what they're doing in their own box, build from the back. And, when you get a goal scored on the way Milan got scored on, where it's an actual error. Again, that's what we talked about a little bit earlier. That's what scares me, is that they showed a little bit of that Milan that we wanted to forget. That Milan where, we make a mistake, we concede a goal, and again, you concede a goal and you're draw at that point, right? You're 1-1. It's not like we're losing, and still we showed a little bit of mental fatigue and mental lapse, where we took another one and another one, and then couldn't bury our chances, and then the ball keeps on getting, your pass, your pass, a simple pass becomes a complicated pass. A simple shot becomes a complicated shot. A simple cross becomes everything starts to get complicated and you get suffocated. That's the portion of the game that I like. That's what interests me a lot, of how teams could get away from there. So
before we head to the Twitter questions, do you consider Giroud as a flop? Andre, by the way, that's why we do have the Patreon question. Next time, put him up on the on our Patreon site. But you consider him a flop, Steve?
No.
Doesn't fit? No, I don't think so. I think he's from what we've seen from the Pistolero to the other strikers that we tried to put in the last couple of years, definitely not a flop. And
you have to remember, Andre, it's 14 games, right? It's not even half a season with the team. I want to give him that much. He's scored more than the other people that we've taken a chance on, the Mandzukic and so on and so forth. Look, he has to stay healthy. He's of age as well, but I think when he's on the pitch, it's a little bit different, where we need to be able to provide him service. And that's where, again, when we're talking about the simple cross needs to be a simple cross, because he's going to find a way to get on that. And when we're doing that, not be one-dimensional with Giroud. We think that, Giroud is there, we're going to whip in crosses from both sides and he's going to get on. Then you just become predictable. They need to find a good mix between what he can do in the air and what he could do to hold the play. And I think that's where he's going to be. He's going to show his true value.
If Steve, if Montella was Juventus's coach right now and he was asked about this whole scandalo, what would he answer the journalist?
Tutto va bene, siamo qui, facciamo tutti i conti, sono meravigliosi, non c'è niente che va male. Dunque stasera ceniamo da Gigio e andiamo tutto bene.
Tutto bene. Forza Domi on Twitter, I know he's asking about Maldini's January signing comment. We answered that before. He says, just how bad was Bakayoko his first part with Milan before Gattuso called him out? Did yesterday's performance compare? When he is walking back to defend along with Ibra and Leao, why doesn't Padre Pioli channel his inner Rino to wake him up? I'm gonna say, like, we suffered Bakayoko for 6, 7, 8 straight games of playing that bad. So I'm not gonna shit on him right away. Just like you said, Steve, just maybe no reason to make him start this game here. Especially he hasn't started in a long time. But was he worse when he first started with Milan?
Yes.
Yeah, he was definitely worse.
Yes, I think his time, the positive time at Milan helped. I think going to Napoli, another team, and seeing what they do on their side of the pitch was, again, a good experience of Serie A. And now it's going to be, if you think about it, it's his third year in Serie A. Again, yes, flip-flopping teams all the time and not having a stable role wherever he goes, but he has to understand his role. And I think more than, Pioli, channeling his Gattuso, because Gattuso's Gattuso. That's his coaching style.
Yeah.
We see Pioli, he's not going to channel that because he doesn't have that in him. But what he does have is he has that cool teacher. I like to compare it as a cool teacher. In high school, I had a couple of cool teachers that I will never forget because I think they came down to a human level and were not teacher and student. They were like human to human. And I think Pioli has that magical touch where he becomes a human, and he removes the coaching tag from his jacket or vest or turtleneck, whatever he's wearing that day, and he can tell Bakayoko that your role here is this.
And he doesn't mince his words, Steve. He called out, like, he said it. We played horrible. We did this. The first half was good, and at least, maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's able to connect the way he's able to connect with the players, especially with guys with personalities like Ibra, right? And Ibra's always said good things about Pioli. So, last question from Jan, Steve. He said, "Can you please tell everybody to calm the fuck down?" And the question number 2 is, what's your choice, lasagna or turkey at a holiday meal?
Lasagna, 100% of the time. I hate turkey.
Turkey. I'm gonna have to go with the turkey.
Juan's question here, Juan Carlos, a great question. How bad do you think it will get with Milan when the AFCON is taking place? One, I think it's going to get worse for Napoli than it will get for Milan, if that makes you feel any better. 2, we're losing Benacer and Kessie for sure. I don't know who else we might lose. I don't know if Balotelli is of African descent and will be playing in the AFCON. I'm not 100% sure, but I know for sure the big losses for Milan will be Brahim, will be Benacer, and will be Kessie.
And now Inter has no African players, by the way.
Inter doesn't have any. Yeah, Inter will not lose. Will not lose any. If they do, they're not people that we are used to seeing in the starting lineup. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for us. We're gonna count on Tonali a lot. We're gonna hope that we get some injured players back.
Balotelli plays for Senegal. Thank you, Jamie.
So there you go. Thank you. We're gonna lose him too. So we're gonna be losing some of that depth that we've already been complaining that is not great to begin with. So Maldini's, we're not gonna do nothing at January because we're competitive. I call you bullshit on that.
And he was saying for Tzedom, is like, if Milan drops into Europa League with the same roster, should Pioli use this in Coppa Italia strictly as training sessions for the bench players and promising Primavera to keep starters healthy? I say no, because if you're going to do that, you're not really developing your depth into your team, right? So you're just basically saying, you guys really, we don't care about you. You're just here to play ball. And if somebody emerges from you, so Europa League, I don't believe in, we don't give a shit about the Europa League. You need to, if this Milan team, as you keep on saying, Steve, I want Scudettos, I want championships. We cannot go into a tournament and go, I don't care about this tournament. I want to concentrate. It's money. Exactly. It's money, right? People seem to forget that. It is money. I remember seeing that tweet that if you qualify for the Champions League, I don't know, millions that you get. So I get where he's coming from, but no, I think it will put a mixture. I have no problem with Coppa Italia, a bit more like, the younger players and trying something out. But no, I would not give up on Europa League and, we're going all in for the Scudetto. You got to be able to balance because, again, that might be a band-aid solution because the next year comes on, and what are you going to do? You're going to do the same thing? What do you say about the?
No, I do listen to Vieri and Adan and Ventola and Cassano a lot, and I'll never forget this episode, and it really put a lot of stuff into perspective. Who does Serie A really think they are? Because we can't compete in the Champions League. We're just the gap between us and we're gonna call them the wealthy teams is just too big. If you watched Juve get demolished by Chelsea, and you saw who Chelsea brought into that game against Juve, the 9-time Serie A champion, guys, we cannot compete. So the next best tournament for Italian clubs to compete in, which Spain has done all the time, Germany does from time to time, is the Europa League. England started to pay attention to the Europa League because they know that it's a spot to go into the Champions League. They know that it's another spot to play the Cup of Cups. I don't know if it's even called that anymore, but let's say the Super Cup between the winner of Champions League and the winner of Europa League. More money. So in terms of finances, yes. And I get the whole, you're still playing 3 times a week. You still want to concentrate. I personally want the Scudetto. I want to tie Inter, and I want the Scudetto. But if we want to become serious and we want to attract people to Milan, we need to, A, stay consistently up in the top 4 and make sure we make it to Champions League. B, we need to start winning some trophies to get ourselves out there. And C, we need to continue doing what we're doing, is marketing the brand of Milan across the globe.
Exactly. And let's put it this way, guys. The last 9 years where they won the Scudetto, were they not the laughing stock around the world? Yeah, you could only win in Italy, Juventus. You can't win outside of Italy. They didn't do much in the Champions League. So in the end, guys, we need to compete on all fronts. And whether we go far or not, we need to compete on all fronts. Stevie P, you gave your Biroshki of the week. Did you have an indigestion of the week, or was it our both our indigestions?
Yeah, my indigestion of the week is Milan, guys. I can't. I would be lying if I would give something other than that. I think they just, again, 2 weeks in a row, we just don't do enough to beat teams that are beatable, teams that we should be collecting 3 points or at least fighting for a draw. And again, my indigestion of the week is, again, this stat of having 1 point out of the last 3 games is starting to bother me. And I don't like when those teams start creeping up behind us on our heels, because I think our depth will be the Achilles heel in the end.
Jamie, yes, I know they were in 2 Champions League final, and what the fuck did they do? They got beat. I know what you're saying there. They still made it to the Champions League final, but if you're only going to win at home in your domestic league and you can't win outside of your domestic league, and I'm not saying just Juventus, Milan can't win outside of the domestic league and all these teams, so what does that say about your domestic league? So hopefully let's get better at it. Steve, for me, I'm going to have to agree with you. It's definitely Milan, especially the body language of all the players, especially after that 3rd goal. I was just disgusted just looking at them, Ibra especially. So just let's get these bad performances out of the way. And Brioshki, feel good, Steve. I'm gonna have to go with. Did you pay attention to Magic Mike, screaming in Italian? He's there in the back, and he's. I like it. Taking a lot of space there, screaming at the guys in Italian. Good for you, Mike. Who was his name? Mike Mangione.
Mike Mangione is probably a revelation, because he had a lot of he had some pretty big gloves to fill. And he seems to have filled them very nicely.
And congrats to Donnarumma for Keeper of the Year.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Keeper of the Year. He was the best keeper last year.
Definitely for Milan and Italy.
Merited. It could have went better for us and Milan as fans, but it did not. But you cannot deny the fact that he was the best goalkeeper last year.
Stevie P, do we have anything to add to this week? We wanted to try to keep it short, but we're an hour and 50 minutes.
We're still long.
We're still long.
For me, I want to end it off with this. Guys, the Milan Weekly Podcast t-shirt will be up on Milan Club World. Guys, it's a great site for all clubs, Milan clubs. There's apparel from Boston, New York, Toronto, Montreal, Lisbon, Real Madrid, Milan clubs from everywhere, Dublin, London. I have so many. I have so many of these great T-shirts, because I want to just and every certain percentage of that T-shirt is gonna help that club. So it's great. Milan Club World, guys, go there.
You got great designs, great t-shirt
great
quality
designs,
as well, and they're not $50 a t-shirt. So
yeah,
we will
it's very affordable. So
we will be putting it up soon if it's not on there yet, guys. The Toin Food Drive, we will be spamming your timelines. We apologize in advance, but hey, it's that time of year. Let's hit that $3,500 mark. Let's bring that cash monies to the Walmart and buy. Let's get $3,500 worth of tuna, Steve.
yeah, that would be fun.
All right, so guys, thank you so very much for sticking around. As always, ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao, guys.